everybody. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Dia. This is Novel Idea. And today I just wanted to talk about the series that I would like to begin in 2023. So not too long ago, I did a video about the series that I am in the middle of and that I am currently reading and would like to finish up by the end of the year. And so I am working toward that. I'm doing really well, but I have some series that have come on my radar pretty strongly this year, and I would like to begin them this next year. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump in and we're going to talk about the series that I would like to be reading this next year. So the first one is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. I have several friends that have read this, and I have some that have just liked it. It hasn't been their favorite. And then I have others that just swear by it. So I would like to see for myself if this is something that is my cup of tea. I think will be my first attempt with Stephen King in a very long time. I'm not a horror fan, and so most of the time when people think of Stephen King, they think of horror. And I have read some of his things that I do like that are not horror, like the short story that Stand By Me is based on. So we're going to start with The Gunslinger, and we will see if the series is for me from there. Several of my friends here on BookTube read Jenn Lyons' A Course of Dragons this last year, and several of them absolutely fell in love with it. A couple of them DNF'd it. So again, this is one that I just want to find out if it is for me. I have no idea what it is about. I only know that there are footnotes and other things that confused a lot of people, and so I'm here for it. This last year, I have really enjoyed every T. Kingfisher book that I have read. And she has quite a backlog, and she has more standalones coming out this next year. So I would really love to jump into some of her backlog. And I have the Clocktaur series. I don't know if I'll start there, or if I'll start with the Paladins, or if I'll start with the Saints. But one of those series by T. Kingfisher I would like to jump into. Then I also would like to read the Davapod Trilogy by S A Chakraborty. This I have plans to read already. Jack from Spread Book Joy contacted me and said, hey, I really love to read fantasy and I would love to do some buddy reads. And so let's exchange kind of what our wants are and see if anything aligns. And the Davabad Trilogy was one of those. We're actually going to start with Guy Gabriel Kay's Tigana, because neither one of us have read that and both of us have wanted to. And then Gemma from Gemma Books also wanted to join us. So it's going to be a dual buddy read for me. And so we are going to start with Tigana, but that is not a series, that's a standalone. And then we're going to move into the Davabad Trilogy and see if we really like it or not. Then I have also been hearing quite a bit from several friends who are into Dungeons and Dragons. I was a long time ago. Probably when Dungeons and Dragons first started. That's when I was into it. But R.A. Salvatore has a series called The Legend of Dritz, I think. Is that what it's called? The Legends of Dritz. And These are books that I've heard a lot of really great things about as far as being just that really solid fantasy kind of stories. And so I am going to pick up the first one and see if it works for me, if the writing works for me, if the storylines work for me, and then hopefully read the whole series. This last year, I completed the Legends of the First Empire series by Michael J. Sullivan, and I loved it so much. And so I think this next year, I would like to jump into the Ryria series. There are 2 Ryria series. There's Chronicles and something else. And so anyway, one of those 2, whichever one of those comes first in the order of the world, is where I will start probably, and really looking forward to it. My friend Courtney from Courtney Reads really loves this series, and she and I often agree on things. So I'm going to start the Ryria in this next year also. And then Robert Jackson Bennett's Foundry Side and all of those ones, Shorefall and Lachlan's, I read this past year also and really enjoyed it. It was not an all-time favorite, but it was a good time, and it was something that I enjoyed in the time when I was in those worlds. And so he has another series that he wrote, I think prior to Foundry Side, and it is called the Divine Cities Trilogy. And so I would like to begin that one and see if I enjoy his other writing as much as I enjoyed the Foundry Side. I attempted a while back to begin the Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu, and I DNF'd it. It was a soft DNF because it just wasn't hitting me the right way at the time when I was reading it. I don't think I was in the mood for battles and wars and all of that kind of thing. And I think that it almost immediately started off with one, if I'm remembering correctly. So I think I would like to try again, because all of my friends who have read it recently have really enjoyed it. So I think I would like to try that and see if that is not a series that will work for me, even though I originally DNF'd the first one. I didn't even get very far into it, you guys, so we'll see. And then I have never read Neal Shusterman's The Arc of the Scythe trilogy. And I think that there's also a little novella that goes along with it that he has put out now also. So I would really like to read these. I've heard very, very good things about them. And it seems like such an unusual premise and such an unusual world. So I think I might like to do that. And then Mark Lawrence is the last one. Mark Lawrence has a series out with Red Sister, Gray Sister, and those, and I can't remember the name of the trilogy, but I'm going to put up a picture. And I would like to begin that series also. Again, just things that I've heard that have been really good about it. So those are the main series that I would like to begin this next year in 2023. And let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these, if you have advice for me on where to start, especially like with the Ryria ones, because I'm not real sure where to begin with those. And if there are any that are not on my radar that you think that I should know about, please let me know those down in the comments too. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. I hope that you are having a wonderful Thanksgiving week if you're here in the US, and that you are getting in some really good family time. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.